Therefore, Arnav, in every investment, in every proposal, Commonwealth, most of the investments were cleared by the Cabinet Subcommittee, Expenditure Committee, the group of ministers and the PMO. And what this whole committee of Shulu committee has recommended, it was a method in madness. I told you what Mani Shankar Iyer has said, not BJP man, but a Congress Minister of Sports earlier has confirmed as to how money was granted to the Commonwealth issue. Here also I have told about Mr. Chidambaram's role, and now you are talking about the Investment Promotion Board. Who is going to investigate the role of those people sitting at higher position? Or would it be only kick off their lives if they are under cloud and let the matter rest? If that is the whole approach, I'm sorry, the nation is not going to buy that, and nor we are going to leave that.
Well, this is a developing political story, Mr. Prasad. Gopal Jain, let me come to you. Here's a specific question to you, since you're a corporate lawyer who understands telecom very well. What the viewer wants to know is, does the Maxis Sun TV deal and the Maxis Sun FM deals qualify as a quid pro quo on the same lines, like say the 200 crore Balwa Kalangar payoff? Does it qualify in the same way as a quid pro quo?
Look, as you said, when the common man looks at it, he looks at it purely from a commonsensical point of view and not from a legal point of view. And in his eyes, it obviously looks that way, the way the material is stacking up. But I think the important point is that when you have spring cleaning time and the skeletons start coming out, the Supreme Court, having empowered the investigating agency, it is able to go to any lengths to be able to fearlessly bring before the court everyone who is broadly involved in one form or the other, whether present or in the past. And I think that is the redeeming feature, that you are caught out at some stage. There is no escape route, and I think that's the way we should take it forward from here.
That's very interesting. What if, I'm just trying to understand what the legal defense can be. Ranjit Kumar, can Dayanidhi Maran say, oh, it's one big coincidence, you see? It's one big coincidence that Maxis made an investment of $150 million in Sun Direct DTH within 4 months of acquiring a license. It's just an surprising coincidence, if he says.
I don't think there can be anything in a legal parlance to be a coincidence. If you see, if you have indulged in something where you have granted licenses to a company which has its own sister concern holding equity in your brother's company, then it can't be a coincidence.
No, but the argument has been,
the brothers are not
the argument has been that my brother is a very good businessman. I am a very good politician.
No, he may be a good businessman, but the brother is not separate from you if you are living together. As I understand, if you are living together, and if you are not inimical to your brother rather, and that you know of the affairs of the family business, then you should have recused yourself. You should have said, I will not be taking any decision in this matter, because there is something in Aircel which a company is investing. With that company is also investing in my brother's company. Therefore, I will not take up this matter.
But then
that's the end of the matter.
But then
that would be the legal point.
But if what you're saying, and I remember this, Mr. Ranjit Kumar, you have on this program several times defended corporates. If what you are saying is true,
yes,
this is 3 times bigger and 3 times more damaging than A. Raja, because Raja was not a direct beneficiary, Gopal. He was not a direct beneficiary, as none of his family members had a stake in Kalangar. However, in this deal, Dayanidhi's brother Kalanidhi and his wife are direct beneficiaries because of their shareholding pattern. Gopal.
Correct. I mean, correct. Obviously, as you said, the Lakshman Rekha has to be given
there,
very clearly,
that
where there could be, like Caesar's wife, any suspicion, then you must make sure that the decision-making process is completely insulated from any allegation of favor or bias. And I think in this case, it clearly stepped the line. And if you put 2 and 2 together, or if you see the way the material is stacking up, it obviously gives a very clear impression that this was not a mere coincidence, but as we have seen with all the 2G matters, a very well laid plan which was executed almost as if it was a script.
This is the worst and most open instance of corruption that we have seen. In my hands is one page of the multi-page Shivraj Patil report, which says that Dayanidhi Maran was seeking vague clarifications in trying to push back the license, eventually giving it only when he had his own benefit there. This report is there, it's in public domain, it's on the website, anybody can access it. Rajagopalan, why is he not resigning? What does he expect? Does he expect to last 3 years after this?
Arnab, the DMK senior leaders had a meeting in Chennai as well as some members of parliament had a meeting in Delhi. I am privy to some 1 or 2 decisions. He is not attending tomorrow's morning cabinet meeting. That is what one union minister who belongs to DMK and one MP told me a short while ago. These are all certain things. What Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad asked me to explain to you is that Dayanidhi Maran stands isolated. Why I say is, in Karunanidhi's statement, if you read in between the lines, he says it is for him to defend.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, short while ago, 6 months ago, same Dayanidhi Maran was asked not to enter Lok Sabha by DMK leadership. Now he has to come. Tomorrow if he is not attending the cabinet, that is the indication that he is quitting.
But do people care about indications, Ravi Shankar Prasad, in a situation like this? Or do they want action on indications?
Well, I have the highest regard for Mr. Rajgopalan. I know him. I know his understanding of Tamil Nadu politics. If he says something, it will carry weight. But the larger question I have to ask from the Prime Minister, should it be left to the discretion of the DMK?
That's the point.
Or Dr. Manmohan Singh has to take an important stand that in view of these unimpeachable evidence and circumstances, which are too suspicious of quid pro quo, I would not like to retain him. Is that message coming? Or Dr. Manmohan Singh hasn't again become wiser in spite of disaster he has to suffer in La Ferre Raja?
I think that's a very significant point you make there, because it's interesting in the case of Raja, which you mentioned, Mr. Rangaraj, in the case of Raja, which Ravi Shankar Prasad mentions, neither the CBI nor any other agency had named Raja until he resigned, whereas Maran continues to be minister even after being named by the CBI. So propriety demands his step down.
I think it's only a question of hours or days before Mr. Maran is shown the door from all accounts. And if you see, there have been a whole series of actions both in Delhi and Chennai by which the Sun Network Group is sort of in a Gerao-like situation. See, the Tamil Nadu government's Arasu Cable Corporation, which was actually set up by the previous DMK government, is now working full swing to provide cable TV connections and break the monopoly of the Sun Network's Sumangali Cable Vision. Apart from Sumangali Cable Vision, Dayanidhi Maran and Karunanidhi Maran, they also had a deal with Adagiri, another union minister for chemicals, where his family floated a Royal Cable Vision. This was initially supposed to counter the Sun TV cable group, but later on they had a patch up, and the Sun Network, as if they were parting with some part of the fiefdom, allowed Madurai and southern districts to take the Royal Cable Vision.
My question is very basic. Raja was not named, he resigned. Maran has been named, but the CBI is not resigning. I only want to know whether... if you look at the legally, I want to go back legally once again. Quick last round here. Is his arrest inevitable, Gopal? What does it look like? Because
the CBI's report is quite clear. I think the CBI's report is quite clear.
You can't have a cabinet minister in jail because, Kanimodi was denied bail saying she's a powerful person, she can influence the probe. Then how is Maran still free, Gopal?
Yeah, as I said...
I think, Arnab,
as I said, it's really a question of time now before the Prime Minister acts.
The writing seems to be on the wall, because once the CBI has named you and you are under investigation, we've seen what has happened to other people who've been named, and we know where they're all huddled together. So I think it's a question of, time. It seems to be imminent, and if it's not voluntarily, then you'll be shown a red card and it'll be under, it'll be forced upon you.
Okay. Do you think Ranjit Kumar, he has a strong case to defend?
What I want to add, what I am saying is that the matter is under investigation. If you look at the previous 2 charge sheets which have been filed in the 2G scam, apart from Mr. Raja, everybody else was put in jail after the charge sheet was filed. They were summoned, they were heard on the bail, and they were arrested. So far as Mr. Maran is concerned, the matter is under investigation. What the CBI has told the Supreme Court today is that we are investigating the matter.
You're playing it down.
As the question of his resignation is concerned, his resignation or being dropped from the ministry is concerned, that is entirely
No,
with
sir,
the
you're
Prime
playing it
Minister
down.
and into the political.
With all
political
respect, sir.
domain, I am not
With
going
all,
into
with
it.
all respect, Mr.
I'm
Ranjit,
not going into
Mr. Ranjit Kumar, with all respect, I think you're playing it down. I want Ravi Shankar Prasad's quick last response to that, because I don't think it's a case of
No,
your
I'm
word
not
against
playing it
mine.
down.
No, it's not a case of Siva Sankaran says this, I say this. He says I'm a fraud, I say he's a scamster. It's gone beyond that, hasn't it, Mr. Prasad? It's not just another case of an
Obviously,
accusation.
Arnav, you are absolutely right. Do you remain a minister only because of legalese and technicality, or something called propriety? And if Mr. Maran is not willing to follow the course of propriety, what is the Prime Minister of India doing? Has he learned some lesson in the wake of disaster he has to suffer in the entire world in wake of what happened to Raja? And you are very right, Arnav.
Ravi Shankar,
Raja was forced to resign.
Ravi, if
No, Ranjit, just a minute, Ranjit, just a
Ravi,
minute. What I am trying to
if
highlight
you are talking about propriety, Ravi, you are talking about propriety. If the Maran did not follow propriety in 2007, what propriety are we talking about? If what the facts stated by Arnab is correct, then the propriety was not followed then by anybody. What propriety are we talking about now?
Ranjit, I am only saying that if he is reluctant to follow propriety, the Prime Minister must take a bold stand and sack him. What we have been demanding. You were not on this channel on the first day when I came, when the whole thing erupted.
Yes, when you broke the
And
story.
Arnav, I must compliment you and your team when you broke the story. And Arnav, something very interesting I would like to say today. Whenever you break any story, it comes to the conclusion by a very peculiar development of cycle, regardless of what the opponents may say. We have seen the case of Mr. Kalmadi, we have seen the case of the TV riots, now we are seeing the case of Mr. Maran. But the point is, for which I compliment you again and your team, entire team, but what is more important is that if Mr. Maran is again going into legalese and Mr. Ranjit Kumar is saying that the matter of investigation, come on, the chain of events are very clear. And if Dr. Manmohan Singh is not taking any action, then I can say Manmohan Singh has not learned any lesson. And again he is reinforcing that he is incapable of taking hard decisions.
Okay, I just want to wrap up by saying one thing. The only compliment is to the viewer who watches the news, because the viewer knows the truth. And there's only one fact, Mr. Prasad.
Arnab, I want to say something.
Okay, you can say, then I have something to say, Mr. Rajagopal. Go on, Mr. Rajagopal. Yes.
My only point is, because of Dayanidhi Maran getting into the legal scrutiny, I foresee a break in the DMK Congress alliance in the month of October. End of October, Tamil Nadu is going to form for Panchayat and civic elections. Congress and DMK, which have been ruling the civic bodies, are now going to break. Or this is all thanks to Dayanidhi Maran, who has done a contribution towards the break.
Then what will happen? Will the Congress go to Jayalalitha?
No, that is different question. That is different question. That is only for the Lok Sabha or for the Assembly. I am going to talk about the 2 months hence from today, Tamil Nadu civic elections. What is the stance of Congress? Today, core committee discussed that. That is why I am saying I am privy to that. There are many Congress MPs and leaders. They are worried about their future in Tamil Nadu because none of them can get elected to Rajya Sabha. None of them can get elected to the Lok Sabha. None of them get elected to the Assembly. Then where is the Congress?
Well, I think what you're saying is what was once seen to be a political Noah's Ark for the Congress is now turned into the Titanic. We'll follow the story every which way. The truth has a way of coming out, and that's why we love bringing the news to you. Gentlemen, thank you very much.